Everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Aaron Hill Podcast, a podcast devoted to music, motivation, information, education, and at times, just a tad bit of humor. I appreciate you joining me. Right now, I am actually in my car, and for those of you all who are watching the video podcast, you can obviously see that I'm in my car, driving, while I'm doing this podcast. I will say that I'm being extremely safe. I'm not taking my eyes off the road, and I'm not doing anything that would actually cause a problem to or put my safety at risk. Just for those that aren't watching and that are just listening. For those that are watching, you also see that I have this little furry thing in my hand. And probably wondering what that is. And that is a windscreen. This is actually my microphone, which is plugged into my old iPhone 6S. Which obviously means I must have a new phone. And yes, the truth is I do have a new phone. I have an iPhone 8 now. I have an iPhone 8. And actually this video, on a very serious tip, the reason why I'm actually excited and kind of giddy and right now and chuckling and acting a fool, probably embarrassing myself, is that I'm excited to do this video because everything that I just explained is the point of this video. I put up a post on Facebook yesterday, and that post was, "Don't just dream, do." Don't just dream, do. I came across that quote. Those of you all that have been following me for a while know that I love a good quote. There's nothing that does my day better than a good quote. I come up with my own original quotes, and I also, on a daily basis, share other great quotes. This is a quote that I came across when I was on Fiverr.com yesterday. Since this channel, this podcast is about information, this is a part of the information section. I was on Fiverr.com. For those of you all that don't know what Fiverr is, that's Fiverr.com. And you can pretty much get almost anything possible done on Fiverr for your business or your personal life for as little as $5. Wow. For those of y'all that haven't heard of that site before, I know that kind of sounds crazy, but this is what I mean. Even, you have everything from someone editing video to proofreading your script or to proofreading your resume, to writing your resume, all the way down to making music for you and everything in between, graphic design, anything you can think of as far as photos or video. I could be there recording piano tracks for people on Fiverr.com. It really is an amazing freelancer website. You should definitely check it out because I promise you, I had heard of Fiverr for the last several years, but I hadn't started using it until, I would say, about maybe 4 months ago. And now I've gone absolutely Fiverr crazy. It is a very useful resource, and this is for, entrepreneurs, just to, moms, stay-at-home moms. I mean, there really is a plethora of services that you can have done that will, make for a more convenient life and, where you can delegate certain tasks. So check out Fiverr.com. It's also good if you actually are a person who has a skill and would like to do freelancing. You could actually use this to make money. So check that out. But I was on Fiverr.com, and that's the quote that they had that came up on the screen. It was a motivating quote because people that come there are usually coming there to have something done that's a part of their dream. So it was, "Don't just dream, do." I just want to take a moment just to ponder on that thought and to just offer my ideas to be a motivational inspiration to someone while I'm also motivating myself. The reason why I explained that I'm driving, that I'm holding my old iPhone 6s with my microphone, and I have my new iPhone 8s on my dashboard recording me, is because this is in action, not just dreaming, but doing. Right now I'm doing this because I have a lot going on in my life. My life is pretty overwhelming right now. And I know there's many people who are listening to this that can attest to the same thing. You've got your job, you've got your children, you've got your household responsibilities, you've got, other people that you have to take care of, and maybe you don't have the support, you don't have the family support, you don't have the family structure or the community structure like you would like. And so it means that you have to both take care of your responsibilities, enjoy your time, have your pleasure time, have your pampering time, have your time to yourself, as well as pursue your hobbies and your other goals and dreams, all in the same 24/7. That never is enough time to get everything that we need to get done, and especially when you don't have the support that you need around you to assist, to help you to, relieve some of the stress and some of the burden. At the end of the day, you've got to do what you got to do. And this demonstration of me recording this podcast in my car driving right now is doing what I got to do. Of course, I would rather be in a studio, my studio, ideally in a nice quiet place with my professional microphone, but this is it. And the reason why this is important is because, for many of us, we wouldn't even get out our first podcast, make our first phone call, take the first offer, take the first trip. Like, we wouldn't do any of these things if we waited on the ideal opportunity to do it. But the thing is, when you have a life where you've got a lot of things to take care of, there really is no such thing as an ideal time. Ideal is more so that you make it ideal because you get done what you know you've needed to get done and what you've wanted to get done for so long. You take a step in a forward direction. You can turn a page. You can cross something off the list because you didn't just dream, you did. A while back I heard another very wise saying, and it basically was that, there's a difference between being busy and being productive. You can be extremely busy and not productive at all. And why is that? It's because it's a matter of what you're doing during the time that you're busy. It really matters what you're doing. And a lot of us spend a lot of time staying busy, and especially staying busy for other people and for other people's dreams. For many of us, the issue is not that we won't have dedication or commitment or being able to move forward on something. It's just that we're too caught up doing it for everybody else and not ourselves. So that's being super busy. And you may be being productive in some way, for sure, especially if it's in another person's life and if it benefits your own. But we all know that there's a difference, though, between that and being absolutely productive in your own life and your own endeavors. So I'm saying no more excuses. I'm saying record your podcast while you're driving. I'm saying make your video while you're driving. That's the revelation that you've had in your head for so long, but was just waiting for the ideal studio or the ideal time or the ideal person to help you with it, or the ideal resource, or the ideal day when you didn't have anything else to do. If we wait on any of these things, then all of our dreams will just stay within us. There's another quote that I think about that's related to music, and it says, don't die with the music in you. And I can expand that out to, everything in general. Don't die with your dream in you. Do whatever you have to do. The main thing is that you're moving forward. And all of us need that little bit of push in the back from time to time. I know I sure do. So don't just dream. Do it! Don't make any excuses. Figure out a way to do some small expression. Because what you'll notice is that the first thing is that you'll be able to start seeing your seeds grow. That's the thing. The only way to see your seeds start to grow is that you have to plant them. And one of the things that it makes me think about, in regards to plants, is that say the ideal life is really soft and fertile soil, like the kind that if you guys have ever experienced like really good and rich soil where you just put your hands down in it and it's so soft and massaging to your hands. It's cool. I mean, it's amazing. Imagine that's the ideal life. Now that's a lot different than concrete. Concrete is rock solid. It's not smooth. It's not soft. So right now, I might say that my life is like concrete in ways. There's a lot going on. It's overwhelming many times. It's, you can have frustrations and all kinds of things. But here's the thing I like. If you plant a seed, and all of us have seen this before at one time or another, if you plant a seed under concrete, there's one thing that happens. As long as sunlight is above that concrete, there's one thing that happens. That plant will grow through that concrete. You know why? Because it's reaching for that sunlight. And it has no other choice but to strive for that sunlight. So what that means is that any little thing that you do toward your dream, toward your hobby that you've been wanting to do, toward your goal, whatever that is in whatever area, whatever seed you plant in whatever way that you can, doing the best you can with what you have, doing the best you can with the resources that you have at your disposal right at the moment, doing the best that you can, and just trusting that your intention will speak volumes through the expression that you finally let go and let it fly. Trusting that the message that that you have to reach people and to touch their hearts, they just need to hear it. It's finally out there. Whatever that is, don't just dream, do. You plant that seed, the seed, no matter how tough your life is, no matter the circumstances, it'll find its way through that concrete to the light. And that's what we all need. That's what we all want. And the biggest thing is when you have something to offer to the world, to actually help the world. I would even go out on a limb, even if it's just for myself, and say that if I have something to offer the world and I don't do it, and I do make excuses, or I do wait for ideal circumstances, to some degree, I'm super selfish. To some degree, I have something that's a cure. It's like having a cure for cancer and not putting it out there in order to cure people. That's when you get into morality, which is something that I think I'm going to do let me know you guys' feedback. You can leave a voicemail message to this podcast. This is one of the cool things I like about this app. And pause for another information segment. This app, Anchor, there are so many people that are listening to this podcast that need to start a podcast right now. And we'll be talking more about that as well. You have something to offer. If you have a passion about anything or an expertise in anything. Sorry, I just got a quick call. Real life happening in the real moments of time. So just pause for me 1 second. Just so I can bear with me 1 second. And so, back to what I was saying though. So many of you need to start a podcast. So many of you have information to give. You have advice. You have inspiration to give. And so this particular app that I'm using is Anchor.com. If you go to Anchor.com, it's the Anchor podcast app. Actually, it's not Anchor.com, I'm sorry. It's Anchor.fm for the podcast. Bear with me 10 more seconds. Just gotta make a quick adjustment. And see, under normal circumstances, I would edit this out, but in this case, this is again to be able to be an inspiration. You know, my philosophy, one of my philosophies in life, comes down to something very simple, and it's the Mahalia Jackson philosophy. If I can help somebody along the way, then my living isn't in vain, and that's how I look at it. That's so. No edits. Candid. Yes, I'm actually driving. I'm spinning around the whole nine. I'm glad you're still here actually listening to me. That means something. But again, Anchor, information segment. Anchor. Use Anchor.com for podcasts. It's very easy to use, and it's why I love it. And I was also going to say, I think I'm going to have maybe a segment called Philosophical Fridays. I'm getting ready to experiment with the days of the week and having something different on each day of the week. Motivational Mondays, maybe Tech Tuesdays, where I talk about equipment that I use and different kind of pieces, things, equipment and other gadgets that I endorse, and so forth and so on. But I think in Philosophical Fridays, and the reason why I brought that up is I look at it like I have a gift. You have a gift. If it's like having a cure for cancer, and that in relationship to their, it having a need in the world, then to not give it under some moral understandings is actually completely immoral. And that might be something we dig more into on Philosophical Fridays. But at any rate, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me through all this gander and everything else that happened. I hope there was something in it that was helpful to you. If not, I hope you could at least hear my heart and my intention. My goal was for this to be candid, to let all the mistakes and everything stay in there, just so it can motivate someone that you don't have to be perfect in order to have something that is helpful to people and is making progress in the world toward your goal. So don't just dream, do. Until next time, this is the Aaron Hill Podcast. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, the whole nine. And I'll talk to you all again. Take care.